Good morning and welcome to In a Crisis Family Matters. I'm delighted to have Daniel Cervantes, the Senior VP from Skills for Chicagoland's Future, with us today. We've all seen the jobless numbers today, and 26 million people have filed for unemployment in the last 4 or 5 weeks. So it's really unprecedented. And Daniel is with us today. But Daniel, welcome. And I just wanted to start by saying, how are you doing in isolation with your family, and how are you surviving this?
Good morning, Andrew. It's a pleasure to be on your show. Thank you for the invitation. And I always find these as good opportunities to make sure that our communities across the board are aware of the different resources that exist during this time. To answer your question, we're doing the best that we can. I think that there's a lot of work in front of us, in the wake of COVID-19. I think that we're all getting accustomed and adapting. I think the key word is adaptability, right? In the wake of COVID-19. But listen, truth be told, on a personal level, I'm humbled and I feel fortunate that I'm healthy, my family's healthy. We're all intact in one unit. But I think that on a professional level, Chicago is where I've decided to live and raise my family. And I want to do everything within my position to give back and ensure that other folks are put in the best position to access jobs.
Yeah, this is one of the reasons that I'm doing this podcast, is really wanting to help in any way I can our communities. I was going down the street in my neighborhood, and I'm in Lakeview, which is a fairly affluent area of the city, and the Lakeview Pantry had a line down the street for people getting food. So the impact of this job loss has been unbelievable and really humbling to me to understand this. And one of the reasons I wanted this podcast to happen is to help those who are most impacted. So tell us a little bit more about Skills for Chicagoland's Future and what that does.
Absolutely. So thank you for that. Skills for Chicagoland's Future is an organization that focuses on helping individuals get connected to jobs. And our model starts with the job. We start with the result. It is important that for us, we take the job opportunity and then serve as a network for individuals, especially from those that are in underrepresented communities and demographics. We all know that anywhere between 70 to 85% of jobs are filled through networking, and certain individuals simply, don't have access to that network. I will tell you that in the wake of COVID, I would say that more than ever, the significance and importance of a network is going to be critical. And so at Skills, we start with the job. We're focused on, working with over 50 large businesses throughout the city of Chicago. And the beauty about Chicago is that there isn't any particular industry that is greater than the other. And so our jobs span into the entry level to mid level, wherever there's demand, and it ranges across industries. And our focus is identify the job and then work backwards with community organizations to create awareness about the different job opportunities. And once we have individuals that apply, we go through the process of making sure that we're coaching them along the way, whether it's, especially in this environment, how to prepare for a virtual job interview using Zoom or WebEx or some of these other platforms. We present to them the different opportunities that exist. We coach them on how to make sure that they're, addressing certain questions the right way, and then preparing them for the job in front of them and what that culture and environment is going to be like. So again, it's about lifting and creating awareness, make sure that we start with the job first, and then really taking, which is roughly about 1,000 job opportunities that we typically have, and presenting them to the broader community.
So, with these staggering numbers of unemployment that are coming out, and you being on the front lines of dealing with people who are unemployed, what's the impact of this crisis been for your organization and for the job seekers that you're working with?
Absolutely. So, for Skills, this is something that, coincidentally, we were, essentially created and born at the height of the 2008-2009 Great Recession. And so this was really the essence of why we were created, to make sure that we could be there to be that network for individuals, right? To break through stigmas and so forth. What we've seen in terms of the vast number of job losses, I think we need to put it in perspective, right? The fact is, from 2008, 2009 to as recent as the start of March, we saw that it took roughly 25 million jobs were created, right? In a matter of literally 3 to 4 weeks, we saw the same equivalent of jobs that took a decade wiped away. So that is significant because, even as we start to see stay-at-home orders potentially lifted, we recognize that some industries some particular companies may not come back, and others will gradually, it'll be a long, gradual return in terms of our economy. The job losses has had an impact in so many ways to individuals and communities, whether it's the anxiety, mental health issues of dealing with not only shelter in place, but also the loss of either they themselves or someone in their family losing their job. How do I pay rent? How do I get groceries? That is definitely something that we have to be cognizant about in terms of the mental health, the anxiety aspect of it. The other piece in terms of job losses is that, as individuals, a job, and since I've been doing this for 10 years, really is part of your identity, right? You're a contributing citizen within your community. And what we've seen with job losses, we have corridors with businesses that have been shuttered. We have places of worship that are closed. We have social service agencies. We have spaces that our young adults historically have been able to congregate and meet with mentors. All of that has been shuttered at the moment. And so the job loss has been big on our overall economy, our local communities. And let's not forget that there were moments where even when unemployment was at historic lows, in Chicago's South and West Sides, there were communities that were still grappling with double-digit unemployment. So you can only imagine what this means in those particular communities.
Mm-hmm. So in that vein, many of us are sitting at home and fortunate enough not to be worried about some of those things and able to work remotely and all of these things, and looking for an opportunity to help those who are most impacted. How can individuals help Skills for Chicagoland and the people that Skills for Chicagoland serves?
Yes. So thank you. Although we've been around for, approximately 7 years now, I think the biggest thing in terms of helping is, one, get the word out, right? Our focus has been on every single day we are listing active roles that from companies where people are looking to hire. And so it's creating awareness around the fact that we're here. Our website, www.scfjobs.com, consistently has updated listings. Make people aware, make your family, relatives, folks in the community. You could also reach us through 312-906-7200. Again, by phone, by email, by website, we are consistently updating information. We also view ourselves as a career navigator. So in this moment where you have unemployment offices that are shut down, American Job Centers that are shut down, these are typical locations that most people would go to gain access to resources from an employment perspective. At this moment, there's a lot out there. And I think oftentimes in Chicago, people get there's a lot of noise and which agency do I go to? What are my resources? That's what Skills is. We're here, we're open, we're virtual. We could also help you navigate in terms of who to turn to for what. And we work with over 70 community-based organizations throughout the city of Chicago. And so we can assist also with providing you a resource, whether it's transportation, mental health, shelter, food. Our focus is to try to put you in the right direction, if employment is not necessarily the priority at the moment.
Yeah. So, I work with family businesses of all shapes and sizes. And, I'm really seeing a dramatic impact. So if I were an employer, some of my families are actually hiring in the midst of this because they're in the food space. Yeah. They need the help. So if I were an employer, how could I help, and how could I reach out and partner with Skills for Chicagoland?
Absolutely. So that is one of the things that Skills, why we were created, right? Is to, we respect the great work that many of the workforce agencies do in Chicago, but we start with the job first, and so it's focused on the business to secure the job opportunity. So if there's companies out there that have job opportunities and want to, really create awareness, right, to the broader community, definitely please reach out. So the best way. I know we'll have some slides that potentially will be posted, but B-I-Z, at skillsforchicagoland.com. And then you can reach me directly at 312-906-7206. We're here. We're happy to take in companies. Again, we work with over 50 large businesses in Chicago, but since the start of stay-at-home orders and COVID-19, we have really pivoted to put a large focus on, the essential businesses, whether it's a small or, distribution center, or the big, companies like Walmart who are hiring in the, hundreds of thousands nationwide. We want to be supportive and we want to be helpful. And so we've done that with many of the businesses that we're now working with, whether it's filling roles out in Pullman, or out on the outskirts and just outside of city limits in Villa Park.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you all for all the great work you guys are doing. I'm sure that this is going to tail on for quite some time now. So I hope we can maybe check back with you in a month or two and see how things are going and how people can help then. But thanks for all you're doing on the front lines and helping the unemployed. And we'll do whatever we can to try to help Skills for Chicagoland, help those in need.
So. Appreciate it, Andrew. And thank you so much for the opportunity.
Thanks, Daniel.